Yeah, Huck and Carlton back here today. I am out on this beautiful early June day, checking out a couple stretches of road near where I've driven a number of times before, but I've just kind of missed a couple of spots that I've never actually poked around at, so we're out here hoping I'll find some good stuff. So we'll see what comes.
As is quite frequent since they're, well, everywhere, birds are often the first thing that I find on trips, and this is actually a new one that I haven't documented before. Lark sparrows, which are actually pretty common across much of the US. Those bright chestnut colors on the head and that two-note start to their song are really distinctive for this particular species. If you're out on the Great Plains, the meadowlark is a species that you're almost guaranteed to, if not see, you will at least hear them. And it's a beautiful song every time. This is probably the closest I've actually been able to get to one of them too. He decided to just stay right on the post as I stopped the car, and I got some decent video out through the window. At this. Little box turtle. Alright, first little reptile of the day. We got ourselves a little juvenile ornate box turtle out here. Certainly not as pretty as the ones that I got to see out in Kansas, but nevertheless, these guys are adorable. We'll see which way he goes here. He was heading off the side of the road, so if he turns around, I'll make sure to put him back. Oh, he's turning around. Where you going, dude? You're going the wrong way. Hey, buddy. Let's get you turned around, huh? And would you just look at that adorable little tail? I don't think this guy's quite big enough for me to be able to use the tail as a diagnostic whether it's male or female, but this was probably almost certainly last year's hatchling. The turtles, they'll find a little burrow they'll dig out and lay their eggs in. A lot like other turtles and tortoises across the US. Those will incubate for a couple of months and then they'll hatch out as tiny little babies that then go around munching small insects and some plant material. They'll overwinter and then pop out the next year, ready to go. They take a few years to reach maturity, so this guy's still got quite a while before he's going to be ready to start siring offspring of his or her own.
He's so cute. You can see here, let's see. Might be a young female, although it could just be too young to tell. You are adorable. Look at you. You were facing this direction. So let's get you set out in the grass here, okay, dude? There you go. Run. You're stuck on the grass there. Go around. There you go. Alright, off you go. Nothing. Big old beetle. But he's not what I'm interested in at all. Oh, rock's already getting hot out here. Oh, Milksnake! Somebody squished. Oh no.
This is, without doubt, one of the worst things that I could have possibly found that day. This rock was clearly flipped at some point. A lot of the rocks have been moved around just a little bit in the area, so somebody was flipping them looking for something, and unfortunately I suspect it may well have been another perhaps inexperienced herper at some point, and the animal was still under the rock when the rock was put back down, and it was put down so that the one sharp point on the rock was right on top of the animal's head, so it did not survive. So I really stress to any and all naturalists who might be looking for things out in the wild, but especially other herpers, since we're the ones who quite often are flipping rocks, or even insect people perhaps. When you are flipping cover, make sure to always do so carefully. Don't move any rocks or boards or whatever that are too heavy for you to safely flip up and then move back. And if you find something under whatever it may be you're flipping, make sure to take that animal out from underneath the cover, put the cover back before returning the animal there, because if you put the animal back under first, they will move and you may very well squish them.
Got the cliff swallows living under the bridge here. Up in their howling nests. Got a whole family of mice here. Lizard! There's a lizard. Oh, look at you. Alright. Live reptile of the day number 2. Beautiful old prairie race runner. This guy's got some great blues on his head. And greens running down his back. He's all ready to bite. See the stripes running down his tail. Yes, hello dude. Yeah, you'll go for that camera, won't ya? Yeah, you will. So, I'll get a photo or two and then we'll let him go.
In my last video from Kansas, I made a comment about how it seems like I didn't have a whole lot of luck here in Colorado in catching these guys, but was doing pretty well there. Apparently Colorado felt the need to prove me wrong with these guys all of a sudden. And I've noticed around here they seem to actually be an even brighter color, a lot more greens and blues at an even younger age than the ones that I was seeing in Kansas. Or it could just be particularly regional, since I've also recently stopped by a few other areas in Colorado where they're just as dark as the ones that were in Kansas. So they have quite a bit of variability in them. Babies, of course, when they first hatch out, are really bold, black and yellow striped with bright blue tails, and then they lose most of that color and transition to these brighter, almost flat green animals with darker, like a brown stripe down the back as they get to adulthood.
Alright, don't know if he'll go back under here, but we'll see. Whoops, there he goes. Out into the grass. Well, there we go. It's my second ever live milk snake. Oh, you are beautiful. Look at you. Oh my God. Oh, you are gorgeous.
Just as a reminder, from almost exactly a year ago, this was my first milk snake, an adult found up in the foothills with a bit more of an orange coloration and somewhat paler bands. Now compare that with this one. Now you'll notice juveniles often are much brighter colored than the adults. Perhaps this is a natural defense mechanism. The brighter colors create more of a startle effect towards predators, or perhaps more of a warning system, aposematic coloration. But either way, they are just gorgeous when they are first hatched out. This is almost certainly a hatchling from just last year, and he's going to be experiencing his first full year this year now. These guys come out with the moisture of the early spring, especially when there's good rain, and they will hide underneath various pieces of cover, occasionally out on the crawl at night, although they're usually underground. A very fossorial animal, and from there they will hunt small animals like mice, lizards, particularly skinks that are also underneath cover, and they spend most of the year underground. So there's only very specific times of year where they are very likely to be found, and this point seems to be kind of reaching the end of that around here. And as you can imagine, after finding that dead adult just a little bit earlier in the day, this was definitely the find that I needed to get my spirits back up.
So he's finally decided to calm down here a little bit. I can take some calmer video of him. He is, or she, a gorgeous snake. Oh, come here. I'm out on the rock, you can see here. Almost perfect banding. This was probably last year's hatch out too. Absolutely gorgeous snake. Oh, I'm so glad I found this guy. Alright, dude. Got you down by your rock here, okay? You go find a place to hide now. There you go. Got a little dung beetle rolling away here. Whoops. Try to make sure I don't hit him with the car since he's going right in front of it. Alright, next find of the day. Haven't seen one of these guys in quite a while. This is a northern many-lined skink, and you can see why they're called that. All those stripes down their back. This guy's actually got a complete tail still, which is cool. Still a little bit greenish from when it had a blue tail as a youngster. So this is the main species of skink that we have up here on the northern plains. As you go south, they come into contact with the Great Plains skinks, and then down, I think in the San Juan Valley or so, you start finding the other subspecies. I'll have to double check what that one's called because I've never seen them myself. But beautiful little lizard. I'll get a couple of photos and then we'll get him back under the chunky rock here that we found him under.
Another lucky find, of which I've only seen a couple in the wild before. One when it was really young and I had no idea what it was that I was looking at, and then the other, an adult, that was only a couple of years ago when I was running around with some friends up in the Great Plains. These guys they can be fairly common in some areas, and they are one of the possibly primary food items of the milk snakes and some of the other semi-fossorial animals that you can find up here.
Right, and then he was just under this little rock here, so there he goes. Zoom. Ooh, big old centipede right there. And a big old Scolopendra polymorpha right there. Sitting under this rock. There's quite a few up here, and I didn't realize we have had centipedes that were this big up here. This guy's also known as the tiger centipede. Got ourselves a second race runner here. He's got some beautiful greens and blues along his sides. Nice perfect tail too. He's never been shot at there apparently by any predators. That blue especially, quite beautiful.
Might just be my imagination, and you can judge when you see the last one, but I really think the race runners were getting prettier throughout the day.
In C2, this is the first of these I've seen all year. Our local Woodhouse's toads. Anaxyrus woodhousii. This is the Great Plains subspecies. Usually I get a whole bunch in my yard, but they haven't shown up just yet. Usually middle of June is when they start popping up. Good to know the rains brought these guys out though. Anyway, gotta move this guy out from under the rock and so I can put it back.
Not exactly what I was expecting to find at the top of the hill that I had climbed, but it was kind of an area where water was able to gather, so shouldn't have been too surprising that there were toads hiding out. And it's also a welcome find since these guys start showing up after the rains start coming in, so it's a good sign that we're finally starting to get some moisture that the plains have desperately needed.
And there's a second Woodhouse's toad. Right there, this guy's a little lighter in color. And nothing. Somebody's moved this one before. Nope, not moving that one. Okay.
Though they're supposedly fairly common around here, this is actually the first horned lark that I can recall actually seeing in person. And they're quite an interesting little bird with their namesake little black tufts that looking like horns that kind of stick up off the top of their head when they decide to raise those feathers, and the brilliant black collar that they have, marked by yellow all around.
Another race runner in hand, and this might just be one of the best looking ones yet today. Almost sky blue on the sides, beautiful green and stripes. I'm just gently holding his legs because that way I can show his body without actually hurting him or anything. There are actually two under the little log here where he was at. The other one got away.
See what I mean by they just kept getting prettier? So even though this was the last lizard to be found in the day, it was certainly a really beautiful one to finish out with.
Well, even though we only found one live snake, I have to say, still a pretty darn good day. Because any day you find a milk snake has to be a good day. So, There's still a lot more adventures coming up. In fact, there's something I've got planned that I'm heading out to just this weekend. So until then, as always, you can find more pictures and videos on social media at Carlton Carnivores, Facebook and Instagram, even TikTok. You can find the website at carltoncarnivores.com, where we have the shop with all the plants that are available and the database with information and all the contact info that you need to get a hold of me. And if you'd like to help support the production of videos like this, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/hcarlton. But until next time, I'm Hawken Carlton, and this is Carlton Carnivores.